The Stories of Vikram Bhetal. The Story of Padmavati. There was a beautiful town by name Tanjapuram near the bank of the river Gangas. It was ruled by Pratap. Padmavati was his wife. They were blessed with a son. His name was Vajramukha. His minister was also blessed with a son. His name was Sadbuddhi. He was perfect in all aspects. Vajramukha and Sadbuddhi were good friends. They could not leave each other even for a minute. One day, Vajramukha went for hunting along with Sadbuddhi. As they were tired, they had some water from a lake and were relaxing under a tree. Then a beautiful lady came there along with their friends. Her beauty fascinated the prince. That lady was also impressed by his appearance. She had fallen in love with him, but she did not want to reveal her love to her friends and to the friend of the prince. So she took a lotus flower from her head, kept it on ear, and then held in between her teeth. Later she pressed it with her leg. Again she took it in her hand and placed it on her breast. She showed those gestures to the prince only. After giving a signal like that, she went for swimming along with their friends. Later they went to their home. Since he returned from hunting, Vajramukha was in a very depressing mood. Sadbuddhi observed it and said, "Dear friend, why are you depressed? If the depression is relating to the woman you have seen in the forest, you should be happy as she invited you with signals." The prince was puzzled and said, "Friend, on what basis do you talk like that?" Then Sadbuddhi said, "Dear friend, I observed her. She gave you some signals secretly, but you could not understand the signals. I will explain the meaning of the signals to you. Please listen to me. She had taken the flower from her head and kept it in her ear. By that, she told you that she belongs to Karnapuram village. By keeping the flower in between her teeth, she expressed that she is a daughter of a powerful person. She pressed the flower with her leg. That indicates the name of the king was Kalinga. Later, she had kept the flower on her leg to indicate her name as Padmavati. Afterwards, she pressed the flower to her breast. That indicates her desire to embrace you. So don't be disappointed. She too wants to meet you. Be happy, everything will be alright," said Sadbuddhi. The prince was extremely happy to hear his words. Later, he proceeded to Karnapuram along with Sadbuddhi. There, they stayed in an old woman's house. They offered some money to her and had asked her to go to Padmavati and meet. The old woman went to Padmavati and said, "The person you saw at a canal had come to our town along with his friend. He asked me to inform you about his arrival." Padmavati pretended anger on her and said, "Who is that? I don't know anybody. Don't come to my house." Within no time, Padmavati asked the old woman to sit in a basket, and then she had sent the basket on to the ground floor by tying a rope to the basket. Unable to do anything, the old woman came back and explained what had happened. The prince was very much disappointed and had looked at Sadbuddhi for advice. Then Sadbuddhi smiled and said, "Friend, she seems to be very intelligent, so she is sending the message symbolically so that others may not understand them. She pretended that she did not aware of you in front of the old woman, but at the same time she had suggested a trick to you. If you go and move the rope there, she will pull you up. So you try this today itself." As his friend advised, the prince went to her palace and moved the rope. Padmavati came out and pulled him up. After spending there for a few days in the happy company of Padmavati, his friend Sadbuddhi came to his memory. Then he said to Padmavati, "See dear, I will go and come back within a day or two after seeing my friend." But Padmavati had a doubt. She thought, if I allow him to go now, he may not return. So she simply denied his proposal to go. The prince was very unhappy, hence he was not showing much interest in her. Soon Padmavati realized that Sadbuddhi was an obstacle for their relation. Hence, she wanted to get rid of the obstacle. She wanted to keep the prince with her. She decided to accept the proposal of the prince to leave and gave him a packet of sweets to him. She told him to give the sweets to Sadbuddhi. At the same time, she asked him not to eat even a single piece. She further said, "You go and come quickly along with your friend also. He can also stay with us." The prince was happy. On the next day, he went to the old woman's house. Sadbuddhi was very happy to see his friend. The two friends were in deep discussion. The prince explained all the incidents that took place and gave him the sweets. Then Sadbuddhi asked, "Why did you tell about me? She wanted to separate us. That is why she had sent these sweets." The prince said, "No, she is clever and pious. She wanted to see and honor you." Then Sadbuddhi had taken a piece of sweet and placed it before a dog. The moment the dog had eaten the sweet, it died. The prince was astonished. He thought that one should not believe ladies. Hence, he wanted to get out of the fold of Padmavati. But he was in dilemma. Then Sadbuddhi was the prince and said, "My friend, it is not safe to stay here. More than that, you should not be disappointed. Let us take her to our palace. I have a plan for that. You act accordingly. As usual, you go to her and stay with her today. When she is in deep, sound sleep, you make 3 injuries on her breast and bring her necklace. I will see the rest." Then the prince went to her palace and brought the necklace. Afterwards, Sadbuddhi went to the burial ground in the guest of an ascetic and stayed there. He asked the prince to act as his disciple. Then he asked the prince to show the necklace to the people and bring the person who claimed the necklace. Then the prince took the necklace and showed to everyone of the town. The king heard about the necklace. Hence, he called the prince and asked about the price of the necklace. The prince replied to contact his master, who was in meditation. The king approached Sadbuddhi and asked to give him the necklace. The Sadbuddhi said, "O king, we are not interested in the value of this necklace. We are living here for the last several days. Your minister's son used to come here to eat the dead bodies. Yesterday your minister's daughter came here and had eaten a dead body. At that time I hit her with my weapon and took the necklace. But she escaped from me. If she stays in your country, it will not be good for your country. As it is a sin to kill a woman, you just leave her in the forest by folding her eyes." Saying so, he handed over the necklace to him. The king returned to his kingdom, called his minister, and asked him to whom did the necklace belong. The minister recognized it and said, "It belongs to my daughter." Then the king narrated him everything and got her breast checked. The minister was shocked to see the wounds. As he was unable to reject the command of the king, he took her immediately to the forest and left her there. Afterwards, Sadbuddhi and the prince came to their original appearance. Later, they met Padmavati in the forest. On the advice of Sadbuddhi, the prince took her to his kingdom and lived happily. After narrating the story, Betal asked, "Vikram, you have heard the story. Now tell me on whom this sin falls." Vikram smiled and said, "Betal, the prince loved her as he was in young age. As the prince was beautiful, the princess too loved him. The minister's son, Sadbuddhi, helped the prince as a friend. The king had sent her to forest without making any inquiry. Hence, the sin should go to the king, as he was the guilty." Betal was satisfied with this answer and left him. As usual, he hanged on to the tree. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.